Realizing that she must return to the present, Diana aims to complete her training. Hello, everybody. I'm Steve from VALHARTV, and today I'll be reviewing A Discovery of Witches Season 2, Episode 10. So we start out with Goody continuing Diana's training, and we watch as she's tying knots together, and she completes the 8th knot. And then she goes and starts working on the 9th knot. And this is great because we finally see Diana starting to harness her powers, uh, you know, on her own instead of just like getting emotional and then they react, like before she wasn't able to really control them that well. Now she is. And we really see that she's grown in confidence too as she's been learning, magic and coming into it, so she's really enjoying herself. And as we transition from the opening scene, it cuts to Matthew. It literally transitions from her hands going like this with the knots to going to Matthew teaching Jack about constellations and Diana watching them. And then we get scenes that cut back and forth where we have Diana training and then we have Diana spending time with Matthew and Jack. Excuse me. And this really shows how much they love it in this time period and how they've grown attached to Jack and love him. They really do care about Jack and they want what's best for him, but they can't take him with them to the future. So as Diana nears the completion of her training, we really see that there's something like holding her back that's kind of weighing on her mind, and it's preventing her from finishing the 9th knot. And as she's working on it, Goody ends up telling her that she felt another Weaver arrive in London and that they're going to have to wait until they make themselves known to them. And this is clearly a shock to Diana as she thought there was only 3 Weavers left. Susanna, Goody, and her. Because from previous episodes, that's what Goody said. But when we find out who the new Weaver is, it's mind-blowing. It was fantastic. I loved it. So we cut to present-day Septur, and we see that Agatha, Wilson, Nathaniel, and Sophie show up looking for sanctuary there. And we see Yvette, welcome them in, which is a complete, turnaround from season 1, where she was reluctant to do this. And as we go along, we end up seeing Marcus and Phoebe show up later as well. And at dinner, Marcus says that they have to really overcome their past and their their prejudices and old issues and evolve if they want to survive. So this is really good. And we even get a speech from Sophie in this. Or not Sophie, Phoebe in this. And it was very good. This whole thing was actually pretty good for these sequences. But we cut back to 1591, and Diana and Matthew find the Weaver. And yeah, again, this was fantastic when they realize who it is. And they go through and they show the book to this Weaver. And the Weaver starts to tell Diana and Matthew that they stayed there too long. And that they broke the Time Walker rules, and that they even adopted a kid. And they were like, and he, the Weaver was like, you can't do this. This is not how this is supposed to work. You've changed history. But we don't see how the future's been changed by what they've done and what, Diana's done in previous, episodes, which I really wanted to see. And, as we progress, the Weaver and Goody end up helping Diana finish, the final knot, finish her training, by giving her a little more, push and telling her that, to stop trying so hard. It's not like roping a bull. And it just goes through, and Diana has to speak a truth at the end of this meeting. And it's really heartfelt, and it's so good. The dialogue in this episode has been really good so far. And Diana and Matthew are, basically getting ready to leave. They're trying to get their affairs in order, and they say, heartfelt goodbyes to everybody, including Jack. And this one really kind of was sad to me because we see that Jack is really attached to them, and he doesn't want them to leave. He wants to either go with them or them to stay, and they can't. They can't take him with them, and they can't stay either because they've literally been there too long, like the Weaver had told them. And this was really good. And we really get to see in this too how far Diana is willing to go to make sure that Jack has a really good life. And she makes a deal that we don't expect. And I was just like, wow, wait a minute here. This is crazy. And I think it's going to come back and bite him in the butt, for like everything that's happened in this episode so far. We do cut back to present day, and Nox goes to Septur, and he starts using this little ball that he has, and he lures out M, like anybody really, but M is the one who ends up getting lured out, and she does another one of her summoning spells, trying to get more, information from Rebecca, and Nox tries to get the page. And this is really good because it's so crazy what he's willing to do to get this. And it shows just how much of a terrible person he is, really. And then we do end up cutting back towards the to the end of the episode where Diana and Matthew are ready to jump back to present day, and that's really where it ends. And I was just like, wait a minute, what? I was like, this is the biggest cliffhanger and the biggest tease ever. I was like, I can't. I'm like, wait, what? I was dumbfounded. It was crazy. The effects in this were good, but they were toned down. We were just really seeing her work with knots for this episode. So it was still good. The other magic that they used in it was a little more practical type magic. It wasn't showy. So I thought that was good as well. But the acting in this was fantastic. Again, Diana, makes a deal to make sure Jack has a good life as he's growing up. And this, it was crazy. When we meet the Weaver, that was awesome as well because of the fact that we're shocked to see who it is and that they're able to even interact with each other. So I really liked it. Like the whole thing goes really to Diana. She was fantastic in this. So wasn't Matthew though and stuff, but the other characters I think were kind of put in the sidelines for this season because of the fact that we needed to see her Diana come into her magic and things like that. And this episode's cliffhanger was absolutely fantastic and terrible at the same time. It leaves us with a lot of questions unanswered still. Like, who's the vampire, that's running around in present day killing people, and they're all like, it's Blood Rage, or the, I can't remember the vampire's name that she meets at Rudolph's hunting lodge there, the one that talks to her. We see him later on in the episode as well, talking to the vampire Hubbard. And we don't really know anything about him yet. We don't even get to see like any of the scheming come together that anybody's been doing. This is like we're left with a lot of questions unanswered still. And I liked it, but at the same time, I really kind of wanted more, more answered at the same time. So hopefully, like in season 3, because this does look like it has been renewed for season 3, at least according to IMDb. Hopefully they really start to wrap this up. Because if that's the final season, then there's a lot of questions that need to be answered and a lot of stuff needs to be done. So I don't know how they're going to do it if it's only 8 or 10 episodes, because this is a lot of stuff that we need to wrap up from season 2 alone. But I would give this episode at least a 9 out of 10. This was a fantastic episode. I seriously can't wait for season 3. This was so good. The cliffhanger was so good and so terrible. I was like, no! I was like, what the heck, man? It was great. If you guys like what I do, please hit the like button and also subscribe, as I'll be doing more content each week. Take care for now, everybody. Leave a comment down below as well. Let me know what you thought about this episode.